Probably it has something to do with some secret disgrace related to Oliver Stone, known only to a few. But I just saw images of the molten pigsty that Israel has become. A rowdy crowd of ne'er-do-wells bursting into a prison to free men who were so vile to rape Palestinian prisoners that the authoritarian government who winks at genocide was sickened and had them arrested. And it reminded me of something Martha Gellhorn, who didn't live to condemn Israel, said when she visited El Salvador, which was that it was worse than Hitler because it was evil triumphant. She said that Nazi Germany, you never had the feeling that Hitler was going to get away with it. You knew that he was going to be defeated. But with this terrible, terrifying mockery of the human race, debasement of everything that the United States of America stands for, this murder of the very idea of a school bus, it's evil triumphant. Now, there are many things to learn about the world. There are many things to discuss, and there are many things to exchange regarding. The joy one earns by learning, honestly, the satisfaction that one gets from clean, meaningful, fair exchange can never be replaced by thievery, dispossession, the fulfillment that one gets from love is blasphemed by rape. We have allowed the Israelis, for some God-forsaken reason, to participate in the Olympics in Paris, almost a year into an extermination program which mocks the Jewish experience, which mocks the country of the United States of America, which is for some God-forsaken reason funding it. And as we descend lower and lower into the pit of barbarism, it seems reasonable to reflect on what we're sacrificing, what we're giving away, what we're allowing to have stolen from us, along with our credibility, our sanity, our dignity, and our futures. There was a big moan and groan that came out about a artsy-fartsy rendering of The Last Supper. If this makes a Christian indignant, they should ask themselves, is my faith so threadbare that comic art, that the one night stand of comic art in a fanfare, in a public fanfare, leads me to question my faith? You should thank them if your faith is that threadbare. It's absurd. It was just art. And they make a big hue and cry about that, but say nothing about the genocide committed by the Israelis. Now, every day there's something that leaves one unspeakably indignant, like the murder of a woman who called for help to the police by a police officer, or the freeing of an Israeli diplomat's son who ran over a cop. That sounds like two different things. It's not a quid pro quo, but it might be a call and response. It might be the forces of barbarism acting against any symbolism that makes any sense or rhyme and reason whatsoever. I have dealt with Pittsburgh, which was chosen for pit of hell, make no mistake, who kidnapped, tortured, and gassed me as a child, getting people from Harvard to lampoon my sorrow and frustration and fright as a person who was deafened for life as a child as lies. Even when the people who did it bragged openly in their texts about nearly killing me. And who were they? They were Zionists. Next door neighbors, so-called Israeli Americans. Now we see what they're doing to Gaza. Helpless children, blowing their heads off. And I know this society. I've spoken to everyone from top to bottom. I've spoken to Granger Morgan. I've spoken to Mr. Rogers. I've spoken to Peter Gabriel. I've spoken to everybody. I know what sort of thinking goes on. I attended a Pennsylvania State University. There are nationalists, like William F. Buckley, brethren, who see themselves as experienced people who know how the world works. They're cynical when it comes to real politics and power politics. And they enjoy giving dog whistles to mercenary youngsters who then go ahead and do what they want, not so much following orders as following arrows, getting ideas and playing them through their personality check as to what these nationalists who are cynical and incompetent people would approve of them doing. And it turns into these rabbit hordes. In the 80s, Reagan, who everybody wants to say Reagan would never have been as bad as this, when he was terrible. He was the person who made El Salvador the epitome of evil that Martha Gellhorn disclosed and so despised and so resented and so stupefied her. That's what I saw. The inescapable depravity and shocking support for Hitler's tactics that we call a democracy, that we call Zionism, that we call Israel, and they call our friends. It's disgusting and it has to go. It has nothing to do with the purposes or dignities or livelihood or meaning or future or righteousness of the United States of America. It's criminally insane